This exercise is the last exercise, exercise 6. So on Illustrator, I'm going to create a new file, and it's going to be millimeters this time, and it's going to be 610 by 457. 457. I can decide whether it's going to be tall or landscape. I'm going to go for landscape, and we need to make sure that it's RGB color. Okay, create, and I'm going to bring up my swatches. Looks like they're already over here. And I'm going to make sure I've got a pure red color. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Color Mode. Okay, it's RGB, that's good. I'm going to double click red. And down here, I'm going to have 255 on the red. And for the green, I'm going to go 0. And for the blue, I'm going to go 0. So this is a pure red. This is really important for the laser cutter. So I'm going to drop it in here and know that I've got a pure, absolute pure red in there. And here's going to be my black. So I can close that at the moment. Now, if I jump to Photoshop for a second, I've actually brought in some scans. So this can be a drawing. I've used text, but it can be a drawing as long as it's quite solid black and white, and you'll see the difference. So with these, I'm going to go Image, Mode, Grayscale, hit discard. Now if I go Command L on a Mac, which is the same as going Image, Adjustments, Levels. If I pull the black slider in, it makes the blacks black. If I pull this slider down, it makes the whites white. So I'm trying to get a really nice contrasty image. I'll go OK. This one's good, so I'm going to save it. Save as. Find the folder that you're going to put it in. Give it a name. I'm just saving it as a JPEG, so that's fine. 12, so it's all the way up the top. So it's high res. I can close that now. So the same thing here. Image, Mode, Grayscale, Image, Adjustments, Levels. When I think I've got a nice black and white contrasty image. Save as, give it a name. Saving it as a JPEG, that's good. Whoops, I needed to make sure it was going into the right folder. Okay, that one's done. And the last one, Grayscale. Now this one, you're going to see, because it's not pure black and white, we're getting all this kind of rubbishy stuff in. And you'll see what happens when we take this into Illustrator. Just going to knock that bit out. File. Save as. Make sure it's going in the right folder. JPEG, that's good. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to jump back to Illustrator, and I'm going to make some logos, emblems. So I never go open, I go place. I find that first one. Click. it's really huge, I can either hold the Shift key and keep scaling it down, or I can delete that and go File, Place. This time when I bring it in, click and hold down and drag. And whatever size I drag the square is the size the logo is going to be. Now I can see there's a bit of a dirty bit down the bottom, but hopefully that'll be okay. So under Window, we have an option that's called Image Trace. And this is going to convert it from a scan to something that we vector out that we can use in Illustrator. If I go Command Y, you can see there's nothing there, it's just an image. So you'll see what happens. Flick open Advanced. It says black and white, so that's all good. I've got an option down here that says Preview. I'll click OK if that message comes up. And that's looking pretty good. Now there's options here, and I'll just show you what they do. I probably have to go in a bit closer so I can look at these edges. So paths, if I put it down low, can see it gets a bit smoother. If I put it right up high, it'll try and stick as closely to the image as it can, so it'll get rougher. So I'm actually going to put it down right down low. Corners, if I go less, let's hit a little bit of an effect. If I put it right up to more, you can see it kind of smooths it a wee bit. The noise, this will be all these little bits. So if I put it on less, see there's a couple of little bits there, you'll see what happens. See, it showed more detail, there's more little flecks. So if I push that all the way up to the top, it should get rid of all these little funny little noisy bits, and it's got rid of them. The most important thing here is if I go Ignore Color, click on that, there's an eyedropper, but it should come up with the white of the background. This means it's only going to give me the type, and it's not going to give me the box. Once I've got that, I can hit Expand here, or I can go Object, Expand up here, go OK. And there's my logo. It actually picked up a little wee bit down here, so I can delete that. And this, now if I go Command Y, I can see my logo and I can adjust the curves and do whatever I want. So I'm going to bring the others in and have a look. Place. Preview, go OK. I'll probably leave the settings as they are. I actually know what, I'll drag that down, try and smooth those edges a wee bit. There's also there should be a simplify, but that'll be when we get into Illustrator. So I'll just go, yep, that all looks good. So Ignore Color is the important one here. And I'll just go Expand. There we go. Same thing here. If I go Command Y, I've got that. Now the last one that was a little bit grey, let's see how this one goes. Preview. Now these things will have a much larger effect. Going to be a little bit tricky, this one. So look, so the first thing we've got is threshold. If I make it less, should make it whiter. The white should appear bolder. You can see that. If I take it up to more, it'll do the opposite. It'll make it darker, so it'll start to block it in. So I can go for something like that. Now all these things we should notice a bit more. So we'll go low for the paths. You can see it tries to smooth it out a bit. Corners, if I go less, it's making things a little bit more globby. If I take it up to more, it'll make things a little bit sharper. Here we go. So I'm going to go globby. Remember, the noise gets rid of all these little artifacts. So if I bump it right up, we'll see how much it gets rid of. Cool. That simplified it down. I like that. Ignore color. And expand. Okay, so this one can be a little bit trickier if it's a bit grey to work with. But all of these now I can work with. So let's create a logo. So with this, I'm just going to try and stick a cat's head on the top of it. So what I'm going to do is, I like going Command Y, which is the same as going View, Outline, and Command Y will take it back to the image. So I'm going to go Object, Path, Offset Path, and so this is putting a little border around the edge of it. So I'm going to go OK. It's the pen tool, so I can delete off some of these points in this. But what I'm going to do in this case, so I've got my layers, is I'm going to go Edit, Cut, a new layer. Make sure I've clicked on it, so that little blue thing is off there, so it's gone. And now Command F, which is the same as going Edit, paste in front, and now I can switch the eye off, and it means I can see exactly what's going on with this. So I can get it, I can use that to join all those shapes together. I get the white arrow tool and select just that one and delete it. So I've got this shape. I can get some areas like this, and if I go P for pen tool, I know that I can minus some of those points off. I know I can smooth them if I want. Some of these things we can kind of round the corners a wee bit if you wanted to. Here we go. So you can play with this stuff as much as you like, rounding things away. It's all pretty good. So if I switch that back on, and this top shape, I'm just going to swap this around so it's just a line so I can see what's going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw a cat's head. So I'm going to try and join it up with this little section down here. If I hold down the Option key, I can drag that Bezier handle there. I might just make it straight like that. I'm going to drag it all the way around here, and I'm going to swap that around so it's got no line, but I fill it with black. Now it's on that outline mode, so if I drag with the black arrow, so I've got all of those things selected, you select them just by touching them. If I get the shape builder tool, I'm going to hold down Option for minus, and I'm going to delete off this bottom part. Switch back on. Okay, and I'll stick a couple of eyes on for the cat. If I hold down the Option key, it'll copy it. And I'll have something something like that. Now there's a few other things that I need to play around with here, and that is that I need to change this so if it's a red line it will cut it out, and wherever it's black that's going to be etched. So if this is a piece of wood, where it's black it's going to etch down, so the bit that would be printing is the bit that's white. So let's change things around a bit. If I get that, bring up my swatches, so fill, going to change that to black. This is going to become white, and the lettering is going to become white as well. I'll go Command Y by outline mode so I can see what's happening. And if I hold the Option key down on a Mac, it will draw from the center. And if I hold Shift, it will give me the proportions of a circle. So I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to make it, click on that, black with a line of none. I'm going to go Object, Arrange, Center the back, so that I can see how it's going to work. So remember, everything that's white is going to be printed. So although it looks like this, and the last thing I need to do here is I need to go to the mirror tool, and I need to flip it, because when you print, everything comes out in reverse. So the last thing I'll do here is I probably, if I want this to be like a little printable ring, stamp. If I want to have a ring on it, I'm going to get this. I'm going to go edit, copy, edit, paste in front. So copy there, I just can't see it, and I'll hold down Shift and Option, and I'll just expand that out a wee bit. Okay, so this is what this is the one I'm going to use. But if I copy this over, Option, Shift, what it's going to look like, I'll show you. So that inside ring needs to be white. Arrange, send it to the back, and then this ring, object, arrange, send that right to the back, and these things, fill it with black, fill that with black, get the two eyes, fill them with white, just make sure they're on the front, object, arrange, bring them to the front. So this is the way it's going to print out, but this is the way it's going to be set up. Now some things can actually be cut out, so if I want to cut this out, this ring that I created, if I get that, I'm going to fill it with none. I need to make it a line that's red, and that red thickness must be 0.001, and then hit return or enter. So it's a very faint red line, because when it goes through the laser cutter, it will see that red line, and it has to be pure red, has to be that thickness, and it will cut it. So wherever it's black, it's going to etch it, and wherever there's a red line, it's going to cut it. So for instance, if this shape, I wanted it to cut out, then I would need to change that line to the red. But you have to be careful, because if I chop that out, then the eyes are just going to fall out loose. So this is the way that we set it up, so that it will print out like this. Now you can draw directly in Illustrator, so it doesn't have to be something where you scan an image in. So again, if I take this shape again, and I'll go Command Y so I can see what I'm doing. Rectangle option lets me draw from the center. And draw some things up, straighten all of that. And again, whatever I select, I can use the shape builder and join these things together. Delete out some of these shapes if I don't want them. Okay, so this one here, again, oops, not that shape. Wanted the circle. Option Shift, and again with that shape builder tool, you can make shapes, select everything, and with the shape builder you can just join those shapes together. So there's a few shapes there. Sometimes if I have to click on with the white selection tool, Command Z, there can be extra shapes. So again, with this one, if we wanted, we could grab all of this and we could go line color, that special red, 0.001. So that means that everything here is going to get cut out. So if I drag it, if I mirror it, what it's actually going to print out is it's going to print out this shape. So we could just roller that up with a roller. And then these are going to be holes. So you would literally roll ink over that and you would end up with something like this. Okay, so this is the process of how we need to set it up. When we're finished, go for the one I want. I'm going to go for this. If I scale it up, that red has changed size now. So I have to make sure at 100% that it's 0.001. And then I just go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as an SVG, and I'll give it my name. That's it, just go OK.